are live. Okay, hello and welcome to episode 40 of Captain's Pick, the FPL podcast. My name's Geoff, and each week I'll be talking fantasy Premier League football. We are currently live streaming on Twitch, here on twitch.tv/captainspickpod. If you can't come and join us in the live stream, head over to YouTube, to the Captain's Pick FPL podcast YouTube page, and the replays will always get uploaded. I'll try and do that as soon as possible after the live stream has happened. And as ever, you can listen to this podcast on your podcast provider. Just search Captain's Pick. On today's show, I'll have a little look back at my game week 1. I'll chat a little bit about the Super Cup that happened last night. Any transfers or squad selections that I'll be making. And then I'll look ahead to game week 2. For people who are watching this, that's all the Twitter information there, my Twitter page at Captain's Pick Pod. There you can find in the bio links to my the Captain's Pick Twitch channel, the YouTube channel, and links to the podcast. So again, I'll be anxiously waiting to see if anyone joins the live chat, and I say do feel free, if you're in here, please do hit me up with some questions, and we'll certainly have a chat about FPL. That's what I'm here to do, and that's what I like doing. But until anyone does join the live chat, I will get on with the rest of the show. And the technology has worked so far. We've got graphics on screen, and now we'll be heading over, hopefully, fingers crossed, to some live browser graphics, which will be a first for the podcast, and we'll see how that goes. So let's transition over to that, and that has worked perfect. So that is my game week 1 score there of 86 points. I was just really happy with that. If you could have given me 60 plus points before game week 1, I definitely would have took that for sure. The average points this week, 65 points. So good 21 points above the average. Game week rank and obviously total rank of 523k. Not too bothered about that just yet. Let's just give it a few weeks first, few game weeks before trying to get into that top 100k. As I say, that total rank is just a game week score. If I could be in the top 500k every single game week for the 38 game weeks, I think I'd be doing pretty well. So yeah, very happy with my game week 1 score, as you can see up on the screen there. And then by the magic of OBS here, we're going to flick to my game week 1 team, and as you can see, I'd picked Matt Ryan in goal, who got me 9 points. So he got the clean sheet and saves and 2 bonus points there, which is absolutely amazing in that 3-0 Brighton win. It was a bit of a toss-up between him, Pope, Henderson, and the Aston Villa goalkeeper Tom Heaton. But I went Ryan. I thought they had some pretty decent fixtures. Wasn't sure what they'd be like at the back, but they didn't crucially sell Dunk, so you still had the Dunk and Duffy partnership at the back there. And also it meant that, as you can see, I've got Button as my reserve goalkeeper, so if anything were to happen with Ryan, then I would have a backup to come straight into the side. So yeah, very, very happy with that 9 points. Very sort of unexpected, but I'll take that all day long. I've then my Liverpool double up, as you can see. click on TAA there. So obviously Liverpool won 4-1 on Friday night. We all everyone who had the double up or even the triple up just knew there was just Norwich were just going to score a goal right at the end or something to wipe out all our clean sheets, but that's okay. Of course, attacking returns, that's what they're in the side for as well. If you measure up any other 7 million midfielder or forward by the end of the season, I think Trent and Robbo could well match them or be higher than them in the points rankings, because of course they have clean sheets and attacking returns. Obviously Trent getting that assist there, it's a nice 5 points from him. Robbo returning with nothing, looked good in the game though. Liverpool got Southampton away this week, so expecting good stuff from him, although they did have a big match last night in the Super Cup against Chelsea that obviously went the full 120 minutes and pens, so we will see how they react to that come Saturday. Actually, Liverpool matches on Saturday. I had then Lundstrom, who did start. Obviously, a lot of Sheffield United fans thinking he wouldn't, then he did, and he looked excellent. Nearly had a couple of assists, and even ended up on a bonus point. So absolutely superb from him in that Sheffield United 1-1 draw with Bournemouth. There is some thinking that he may not start the next game, but at 4 million, he's going to start for me, and if he doesn't play or whatever, fine. But as I've said in previous podcasts and going back quite a few months here, saying that certainly to the start of last season, is that you have to spend 4 million on defenders at a minimum. So essentially, he's free. He's 4 million. So to get points from him is fantastic. Moving on then, and just to say, I did start Gibson. Everyone who listened and watched last week, I did start Gibson at the back in a 5-man defence. He obviously didn't start, stayed on the subs bench, got that call wrong. Safer choice might have been Kelly, but I was worried that he may not play and then his value would drop pretty quick because he's quite high ownership. Probably should have stuck with that safer pick, Kelly, who indeed got a clean sheet. So potentially missed out on a few points there because obviously same price as Gibson. Obviously Gibson not first choice now. Tarkowski started and didn't get transferred out to any other clubs. So probably looking to be a transfer in the coming weeks from him, but low ownership, so doubt he's going to drop in value, and he's only 4 million, so he can stay third on the bench for the time being. And then completing the back four, Luca Dean, nice clean sheet from Everton there. Had a man sent off for the last 15-20 minutes, I think. Schneiderlin got sent off, so happy to have kept the clean sheet. In the highlights, looked dangerous, put in a few decent crosses, nearly got a couple of assists. Sigurdsson probably should have finished one of them at least. So again, looks to be picked up his form from the back end of last season. So again, expecting attacking points from him. Clean sheet is brilliant. Then my midfield three, let's just start with Fraser. Let's get over and done with. Bournemouth looked pretty awful from the highlights. Had a slight change of formation, 3-4-3, I think. Hoping that they change back to sort of more of a 4-4-2 for the next game. And of course, he got a yellow card, so just brought in 1 point. Shame, hoping that these first two opening games for Bournemouth that they would Fraser to get some big scores. Away to Aston Villa, fingers crossed he does something, and then he may well be for the chopping board if he doesn't. Ideally, the first 10 games, I think he can get attacking returns, but if he doesn't return anything in the first two games, and then they have Man City at home and then Leicester away, and then the fixtures pick up again. If he no returns in the first two games would be, and plenty of options at 7.5. Pulisic looked good in the Super Cup last night. Martial looked good against Chelsea in the Sunday game. So yeah, eyes on Fraser for sure. But as many who had listened to last year's series of this podcast, the moment I did take Fraser out, he scored like 2 goals and 2 assists in a match. So he can haunt me. He's done it before. So I'm not eager to take him out of my side yet. Let's go with Salah. Captained him. Perfect. It's exactly what I wanted from my captain. Scored a goal. Got an assist and 2 bonus points. Like, that's just magic for your captaincy. 12 points doubled, 24 points. I'll take that every single week from my captain. Um, it was a safe choice and it proved a safe choice. I was just happy to get away in the game week 1 with a good captaincy score. Of course, could have captained Sterling and got some extra points. He obviously got that hat trick. 3 bonus points. Nearly got an assist. VAR ruled that out, of course, in that City 5-0 win against West Ham. He looked excellent. Yeah, could have captained him, but was had the vice on him, but was always going to go Salah. So I don't mind that at all. And just a note, obviously, on that City game, I had predicted, as you'll know, listened and seen, that I thought City would concede in the first 3 matches. Obviously, game week 1 they didn't concede, so Zinchenko would have been probably the option I could have afforded. He started, as did Laporte. Both got clean sheets, so I'm down a little bit there. We'll see if they concede in the next 2 games. So that was my midfield. Let's go Wickham. He was on the first on my subs bench. He came on, had a great chance, nearly nicked it round the corner of the defender. That would have been an absolute bonus for him to pop up and score. Obviously, he's just got the 1 point. They started with Benteke and Ayew up front. Didn't show much threat at all. Zaha will no doubt come in and potentially play up front. Not sure in the next game. But I think if Wickham can get a few minutes and get on the score sheet, I think he can push his way into that starting lineup if Benteke and I fail to deliver. So I'm at 4.5 again, happy to have him in my squad, and we'll just keep a close eye on how he does, how his minutes are, and if he can come back with any returns, would be amazing. Let's go Josh King. Yeah, again, Bournemouth failed to deliver in that game. Very much the same theory as Fraser with Josh King. Let's hope for points in the next game because he may well get ditched. Plenty of other players at that price point. It's just fingers crossed that he delivers in the next game. 2 points from him. And then Harry Kane, again, he was in my team from the start. He probably would have been, even if he'd been 12.5 million. I'd said that in the summer podcast that I did and at the start of this season. I thought he would deliver against Aston Villa. He could well deliver against City, but he's in the team for the first 4, 5, 6 game weeks. Spurs got some really good home fixtures, and I think he can really do the business. He looked sharp, looked lively, and got those 2 goals. So again, he got all 3 bonus points because of those 2 goals in that Spurs 3-1 home win against Villa. McGinn from Villa at 5.5 million looked really decent, got his goal. 5.5 million's possibility of upgrading one of my 4.5 midfielders potentially to get him in. He's on the watch list at the moment. Dendoncker and Hayden, 3 points and 2 points respectively from those guys, just stuck on the bench. That's fine. I just want them playing and be able to come on to the pitch. I think, as I mentioned, maybe in one of my live tweets that I was doing last week, that it's very much 5 players competing for 2 spots in my team. So Lundstrom, Wickham, Gibson, Dendoncker and Hayden. Looks like Gibson's lost that race already, so it's more like 4 players playing for 2 positions. We'll see if Lundstrom does make the team in the next game for Sheffield United. Yeah, between those four players, I think I can definitely get some points. But it's potentially a risky strategy. I'm not seeing many other managers do that. Obviously, all my funds are tied up with all my premiums. Kane, Salah, Sterling, my two Liverpool premiums, Robertson, Alexander, and Dean. So I can't afford too much else, especially with Fraser and King there. They're my guys that maybe I can scrimp and save half a million here or there. But I'm really looking at those sort of four cheapest chip players to come in and do a job for me. We'll see if that strategy works. So again, that was my game week 1 score, 86 points. Very happy with that. I'm just going to flick up to my team for game week 2, and but before then, just wanted to give some thoughts on the Super Cup last night. 2-2 went to extra time and then penalties. Chelsea losing. Tammy Abraham last penalty got saved. Felt for him. Just really hoping he could get any kind of goal, something to go in the back of the net to give him a boost in confidence. My thoughts on that, and this is sort of coupled really with the defeat at Old Trafford on Sunday. I'm a Chelsea supporter, I should make that clear. Those two have listened before will know this for sure. In the first sort of 60 minutes of that game at Old Trafford, I thought we were excellent. Played some really great attacking, adventurous style football, which I was really happy to see under Lampard. I thought that would be the case, so I was happy to be proved correct there. Yeah, obviously there's weakness at the back for sure, and look, United got some great counter assets, and we got done. We made some mistakes, and that's what happens away at Old Trafford. Shame that was game week 1. But similarly with last night in the Super Cup, first half I thought we were excellent. Excellent from Pulisic, who could well be an option at 7.5 million. I think he'll put weaker defences to the sword, but bigger teams, we'll see. So it could be an option certainly against if Chelsea have a run of some of the lower teams. I think he could be an option. Certainly on my watch list with Fraser at the same price currently. Also to mention, obviously in that match Old Trafford, Martial looked good, so he's on the watch list for a potential Fraser replacement. Although Martial's gone up 0.1, but I have got 0.5 in the bank. So I think that is definitely going to come in handy once I start doing transfers. Other thoughts on the Super Cup? Kante was world class first half performance from him. Showed what we missed last week at Old Trafford. I thought it was excellent. Mason Mount, when he came on, I thought was very impressive again. I think he may well start over Barkley. I'm really impressed with Mount. He looks to be able to play on the left wing as well as that sort of number 10 position. Pedro's starting every game at the moment, so I think he's sort of won that battle over Willian at the moment. It will be interesting to see what the lineup is for Chelsea's home game against Leicester on the weekend. That'll be the first home game, so if a lot of the players all start again in that starting lineup, I think you can see that that's his preferred 11. And then from then on, I think, only from after this Leicester game, I think we can really start to consider Chelsea assets. Probably no defensive ones, even though, there's Christensen and Zuma both at 5 million. Emerson at 5.5 might be an interesting pick. Certainly looks like you could get some attacking returns, but at the moment, clean sheets I don't think are going to come that often just yet. But going forward, Jorginho could be an option at 5 million. He took the penalty last night, and with playing alongside Kante, he had quite a lot of attempted assists, sort of from that quarterback role, sort of like a bit like De Bruyne in that sense. So could get a few cheeky assists from him, maybe a couple of penalties at 5 million. Could be an option. Still a wait and see, but Certainly from an FPL option, that could be something to look at. Again, as I mentioned, Pulisic putting weaker sides to the sword for sure. And I think it's just going to be a battle between Giroud and Abraham. I think if Abraham can just get a couple of goals, get on the score sheet, I think that'll do him the world of good. And I think he can win that race. But Giroud getting a goal last night. Batshuayi, I think, is clear third choice at the moment. So it is a battle between those guys. I thought we played well. So did Liverpool. To be fair, I think both teams did enough to win the match. But I was definitely encouraged by our sort of adventurous kind of attacking style of play. Yeah, a wait and see from an FPL point of view. Once the Leicester game has gone, and then I think the fixtures do ease up a little bit, then could be the time to maybe bring in an attacking asset from Chelsea. Looking ahead now then to game week 2. Got my squad up on the screen there. Obviously Ryan at home to West Ham. Good chance of a clean sheet there. Back 4, Liverpool double up. Southampton away. Would have thought good option for clean sheets there. But of course, 120 minutes midweek. TAA didn't start, came on, played the last half an hour. Robson got subbed, so played the sort of 90-95 minutes. So I think both will start against Southampton. I'm pretty sure TAA will, and I would have thought Robbo would as well. But are they going to be tired? Well, it's very interesting to see. But I still think clean sheet's definitely possible there. Luca Dean, Everton home to Watford. Obviously, Watford got smashed last weekend in game week 1. So expecting clean sheet and attacking points from Dean in that match. Lundstrom, I'm starting from Sheffield United. They're at home to Crystal Palace. Again, Palace looked weak up front last week, but Zaha could well make the difference. And that's if Lundstrom starts for Sheffield United. Be very interesting to see if that happens. My midfield 3 stays the same. So Fraser obviously gets another chance away at Aston Villa. He needs to step up, deliver some points in that game for sure. Sterling at home to Spurs. Spurs looked a bit weak defensively last game week. So I think, and this is City, Sterling can put anyone to the sword for sure. Could well be a captaincy option. I've got the vice captaincy on him at the moment. Salah, captain for me currently, again away to Southampton. It's tricky. He did play 120 minutes, but fit professional sportsman should be able to play the amount of games at the start of the season. He's so fit. He may well play 60 minutes and come off. That's probably a fair shout, I'd say. I think he'll start. And to be honest, from a captaincy, I'm just looking for some kind of attacking return. But this could well be a blank. This could. I think he will start, but he could well come off 60, 70 minutes, depending on how the game is. If Liverpool need to score, then I think he could well play the whole game. But if Liverpool already 1 or 2 up, could come off after 60, 70 minutes. Hopefully, he would have scored 1 or 2 of those goals, or at least have got a couple of assists. He probably is my number 1 option, unless we find out anything from the manager press conferences. I think he will start as my captain. And then 3 up front. So I'm going to start Wickham. Outside shot of him starting probably won't, in fairness. But they did look short up front last week, and thought he did look sharp when he did come on. So there's an outside chance of him starting, but if things aren't going well, it looks to be him to come on for Ayor Benteke. And I think that could well be a sneaky, sort of my sneaky punt, my differential, coining the jammy pick phrase from the FPL family. That would be very much a jammy pick to start Wickham and for him to get some returns. Starting King again away at Aston Villa. Again, looking for points from him. Big game for Bournemouth and for those two Bournemouth players in my side. And then starting Kane, Man City away. Kane can score against anyone, anywhere. And Spurs have shown in the Champions League that they can score at Man City. Could well be a tight game, that one, I think. But, you know, he's in my side. I just think Kane's great striker. And who knows? Aubameyang may be a better pick. And leading on to my transfers now, the only transfer I had thought about was maybe just bringing in Aubameyang for Kane. Aubameyang obviously got that home fixture against Burnley. Burnley did well last week, so I don't think it's going to be as easy as maybe the fixture looks. But this is Arsenal, you know, they can tear up, and Aubameyang killed them. So, but I think what I would do is if I did that transfer, Aubameyang to Kane, Kane to Aubameyang. Then week after I'll be going to Aubameyang to Kane again, and just using up charity transfers. And my luck, it would be Kane to score against City and Bournemouth, and Aubameyang to get a blank. So currently, I think I'm going to keep with those. Keep my free transfer, so I'll have 2 free transfers going into game week 3. And I've just noticed in the live chat we've got our first ever live chat comment from friend of the show, Digby Gall. And Digby's been saying, not sure about your Bournemouth attacking double up anymore. And I totally in agreement with Digby there. That this is sort of their, not sure I'm going to say last chance, but certainly they need to show me something in this game week, because as I said, afterwards they've got Man City at home, and then Leicester away. So they really do need to show me something. If they do, then it's quite a nice option in a sense that if I could take the points and run and then move on to other players. Or I could then just think, well, they've shown a bit of form now, and then keep them in the side. Or I could leave one in and take one out. That's probably maybe the way I'm going. But yeah, thanks Diggs for the comment, and glad to see you watching and in the live chat. Digby, as you might have heard, last season was one of my mini league rivals, and he beat me last season in our mini league. I was back-to-back champion in that league, but Digby came in through at the end and beat me by about 30-40 points in the end. So the rivalry and the challenge continues with me and Diggs. So good to see him in the live chat. And then just to finish really off my subs in that order, Dendonka, Wolves at home to Man United is pretty actually an okay fixture for Wolves. I think did well against United last season. He's first sub, Hayden second sub. I think both will start and maybe get one or 2 points from those guys. And they may well come in for Lundstram and Wickham if they don't get any time. But as I mentioned at the start of the stream, that those 4 players really are competing for 2 positions in my starting lineup. Yeah, Digby was just saying in the live chat he'll be beating me again. We shall see. Looking for to challenge once more for the FC Cobra title. Yeah, I'll be coming after that championship crown, Diggs. Don't worry. Digby also mentions, when am I playing my wild card? He normally looks to play it within the first 2 or 3 weeks. Didn't really want to plan too much for the wild card. Of course, if my team set up, if game week 1 had gone terribly, and all my players had just failed to deliver completely, I think it's not outrageous to wild card in game week 2, 3, 4. Obviously, there's an international break game week 4, so it's probably an ideal time to wild card. to, as Diggs was saying in the live chat, to get on some of the bandwagons to get so you can improve your team value. So it's quite a good idea in terms of that. But in terms of my wild card, game week 1 was great. Let's see what game week 2 and 3 look like. If my premiums all come in again and look to be the way, I can't see me changing the structure of my team too much. Maybe dropping one of my Liverpool defenders if the clean sheets don't come, and then I can spread those funds a little bit elsewhere. Maybe just bolster up that starting 11 a bit more, because I say at the moment in my starting lineup I do have a 4 million starter and a 4.5 million starter. We should see on that Liverpool defence. But in terms of wild cards, I'd like to go as long as possible, really. I think I wild carded around game week 12 or 13 last season. International breaks are good, so there's another one game week 8, so that might be a possibility. I think there's a fixture swing for a few clubs in game week 8 as well. So currently I would say potentially looking at game week 8. Game week 4 is again another good time to get some price rises and get your team value up. But the fixture swings for a few clubs happens more in game week 8 rather than game week 4. So currently, I would say game week 8 is when I'm potentially looking at a wild card. And so that is my starting 11 for game week 2. Game week 2, of course, is on. The deadline is Saturday, 17th of August at 11:30 a.m. So make sure you don't miss that deadline. As I mentioned when I was talking about Kane and Aubameyang, or Arsenal in that 12:30 fixture against Burnley. Burnley looked decent last week, got a clean sheet, scored 3 goals, I think. So not as an easy game as it looks on paper. Arsenal could do well. I suppose Aubameyang might be the outstanding choice for captaincy. Looking at that home game, I'd still say Salah would be a rival, but of course, as I mentioned, Super Cup fatigue may play into that. But I would say Aubameyang's a very decent option. Villa and Bournemouth covered that pretty much. Could well be a high-scoring game. Be interesting to see if Gilbert and Targett start in the fullback positions for Villa. Didn't start last week, but could well start at home to Bournemouth. Brighton at home to West Ham, looking for a clean sheet from Ryan, but could well be some point saves there. West Ham got some decent attacking options. Obviously, didn't score anything against City, but that's not unusual. So it'll be interesting to see how West Ham are attacking wise. Brighton won against West Ham there at Brighton 1-0 last season. I would very much take that again. Could well see me have clean sheet and bonus points from Ryan again. Everton home to Watford again. Mentioned that earlier. This is where Sigurdsson comes into play. Obviously, I don't have him, but he could well do. Plus, Keane up front could certainly do some bits for Everton, and looking hopefully that Luca Dean supplies some of those crosses, and he was also on corners, some free kicks, so it looks a great option. Seamus Coleman, 500,000 cheaper, could well do the same, so it'll be interesting to see who wins that race in terms of points between those two players. Norwich at home to Newcastle. Pukki looked very decent against Liverpool, I thought, got his goal. Newcastle just lost 1-0 against Arsenal, so interesting game to call that one. Norwich, I thought, did look good attacking wise, but pretty weak defensively. Very quite a hard game to call there, but could see points for Pukki for sure. Southampton at home to Liverpool. Would have thought this was a Liverpool win all day long, maybe a comfortable margin also, but that 120 minutes against Chelsea in the Super Cup has just put that seed of doubt in my mind. I'm still 99.9% sure I'll be going Salah captain, but there could be some surprises there. I think he will start, but he may not got good options there, but I think he'll start. But I think there's a real risk of him only playing 60, 70 minutes, depending on the scoreline. Be interesting to see what Southampton do at home. They're pretty shocking away from home last week, so we shall see on that. And then the late game, City at home to Spurs. Very hard to call between these two teams. I can't even call it. I just hope Harry Kane and Sterling do the bits. Get some goals and assists would be great. Just want my big premium players to get points. Just a hard game to call, that one. We shall see. And then on Sunday, Sheffield United home to Crystal Palace. Looking quite hard because I'm starting a Sheffield United defender, Lundstram, against a Palace forward in Wickham. Both may not even start or even come onto the pitch. So I'm not even sure what I want from that game, to be honest. And I couldn't even predict it anyways. Chelsea at home to Leicester. Again, looking for adventurous attacking stuff from Chelsea. Again, Leicester, sort of Wolves nullified each other last week. Interesting to see if some of their assets can hit Chelsea on the counter attack. Perez, Vardy, Maddison could be crucial in that as well. But looking for a slightly stronger defensive display from Chelsea, but hopefully trying to keep that attacking style as well. Just looking in the chat, we've had another message from Digby, who's also quite keen on Pookie. He could be one of those players like Vardy who can score against anyone. Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I thought he looked really decent against Liverpool. He's obviously clearly the Norwich #1 striker, so if you have him in your team, you know he's going to start every week and play most minutes. And if Norwich do well, it's probably going to be attacking returns from him. He's the same price as Josh King, actually. So Pookie's definitely on my watch list. Norwich don't have great games, but as you mentioned, he could well do as good against the weaker teams as some of the top 6 teams. So definitely one to keep your eye on. And then Monday, the Monday night game, Wolves at home to United. Very interesting to see what United do away from home. Thought defensively looked all over the place in that Chelsea game to begin with, and it's just a shame from a Chelsea perspective that we hit the crossbar and the post and had a couple of other decent chances where someone had gambled on the back stick or the front post. Could have easily been 2 or 3-0 up, but we got put to the sword towards the end on the counter attack. That's just fair enough. So it'll be very interesting to see. Wolves like teams to come at them, and then Wolves do the counter attacking. So it'll be very interesting to see how Man United set up in that game. With the likes of Martial and Rashford and Pogba deliver again. I'm not so sure. It'll be very interesting. I'll have Dendoncker on the bench for me, but I think he'll probably start in that game. But I will be having a close eye on the likes of Martial and Rashford. Martial for sure, because I can get him in pretty easily into my team. Rashford, I have to do a little bit of rejigging of my squad, but yeah, keeping a keen eye on Martial in that match. Okay, well, I think that's all the game week 2 fixtures covered. Just putting on screen there again what I scored in game week 1. Oh, and I'm slightly out of focus on the camera. There we go. Yeah, so 86 points, overall rank of 523k. And just to note that the total players as of recording this Thursday evening, we're over 6 million players now. So it shows you that getting inside that top 100k even, and any more than that, is going to have to take some going this season for sure. But that's certainly the target. But again, we shall see. So yeah, so that is my game week squad going into game week 2. Salah captaincy, no transfers as yet, and say if an injury comes out or press conference says that one of the players isn't starting, then because my bench is pretty weak, it maybe force me into a transfer, but I really do want to have 2 free transfers going into game week 3, and beyond. Really, I think you can really do a lot when you've got 2 free transfers, and I'm pretty happy with my squad as it looks. I do think, and I mentioned this in one of my tweets last week, that um, game week 2 I think is going to be a shocker for a lot of people. It could well be for me as well. If none of my premiums come in, then I'm relying on not a lot of other stuff in my team. So I don't think I'll be scoring anywhere near the 80s again. As I mentioned, I think at the end of my season review of last season, from an FPL point of view, look to get 60 points every week. I averaged 58 points last game week. But again, 60 to 65 is what I'm kind of targeting this season. So let's take it as 60. If I can get, here's my math, 34 points from game week 2, then I'll be on 120 points. So that'll be 60 points average over the 2 game weeks. If I'm looking at 65 points, then I need to score sort of 40 points, 40 plus points in game week 2. So it's quite a nice way to look at it in those terms, so that if I do score around the 30-40 mark, then it doesn't feel as bad because I've averaged 120 over the 2 game weeks. So that's something to bear in mind. But for me, sure, certainly looking between 60 and 65 points. And the last message here from Digby in the chat, who's been amazing tonight by giving me some excellent questions and providing some extra content for me to jabber on about, and not just my team. So Digby says, Martial's got the number 9 shirt now, which is a good sign, but Rashford might still be the man to go forward, though, on penalties. Well, you say on penalties, came out this week that they were saying that whoever wins the penalty will take the penalty, but sure, obviously if like a defender gets the penalty, I doubt he's going to take it. So it could well be on Rashford. So that is definitely plus points there for sure. But as you say, Martial, number 9 shirt. Solskjaer was saying that he wants him in the box scoring kind of tap-in goals, not just extravagant ones. So definitely one to keep an eye on, Martial. I like Fraser a lot because he takes corners and free kicks also. He has that in his game, and obviously Martial doesn't. But if Martial is playing out of position, OOP, up front, then he could well be a very good option. And I think that's where I'm going to wrap up the show. Reminder that game week 2 deadline is this Saturday, 17th of August at 11:30 in the morning. So don't forget to get all your transfers and your squad shaped up in time for that. Thanks to Digby, who was in the live chat tonight, providing some great questions. Thanks, mate. I think we had a few people watching live, which was excellent. Really happy with that. But yeah, so that is the end of the show. Remember that if you want to watch this live, that 3 people are currently watching live. You can watch it on twitch.tv/CaptainsPickPod here on Twitch. The link will be in my bio on my Twitter page as well. And if you can't join us in the live stream and the live chat, do check out the replay. There will be a replay here on the Twitch channel, but there'll also be a replay on the Captain's Pick FPL podcast YouTube channel. Full replay there. So, and if you are watching this on the YouTube channel, please subscribe, like, and put some comments in there, because I will be looking at comments and replying there on the YouTube comments. So feel free to put any questions or anything about the live stream. And again, obviously I'm very new to the live stream. We've been doing the podcast over a year now, but this is only the 3rd live stream we've done. So do feel free to let me know any other comments about the live stream and anything we can improve on here. Yeah, thanks, Stiggs. Another great episode, and we'll see you next week. Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, so that is the end of the show. Again, Captain's Pick podcast. Just search that in your podcast provider. The usual normal date I'm trying to live stream on is a Wednesday. I haven't actually managed to do that yet. Been busy the last 2 Wednesdays, but certainly with the Chelsea and the Super Cup last night. But there's nothing planned for next Wednesday, so I'm determined to live stream next Wednesday here on Twitch around this kind of 7 o'clock time. I think it's quite nice. And if you're looking for more YouTube action, live stream action, then check out Let's Talk FPL, Andy's YouTube channel. Great live streamer, been doing it for a few years now. He is top quality, so I think he normally live streams about 9 o'clock. So that's Let's Talk FPL. Excellent live streaming from him. Okay, so there we go. So good luck with game week 2. Again, that deadline this Saturday, 11:30 a.m. And until next time, it's been my pleasure to talk with you.